Welcome, everybody. This is Keening, Cries from Creatures at Risk of Extinction, a collection of poems paying homage to threatened species that are struggling for survival in all of life's communities across the various habitats, terrestrial and aquatic, of our home, planet Earth. The word keening comes from the Gaelic and refers to the sound of wailing at funerals. It's part of the mood here tonight. Our planet is now in the midst of its sixth mass extinction of plants and animals. In fact, the International Commission on Stratigraphy will vote this year on naming this epoch in the history of life on the planet the Anthropocene, because of the unparalleled impact that our species is having on all of life systems on Earth. The Center for Biological Diversity reports that scientists estimate we're now losing species at 1,000 to 10,000 times the background rate. This, of course, is a rather huge concept to grasp. But because so few people speak of this anthropogenic event of such unimaginable consequence, I knew I wanted to write this poetry, honoring more creatures and painting a picture of a truth that begs urgently for wisdom. And I want to introduce to you our poetry readers tonight. All of them are scientists or have a special interest in science. We are part of Earth Art Bainbridge, which is a month-long adventure of artists interpreting climate change. By combining science with art, we can get a more powerful message. So tonight, our scientists read the poems as a way of expressing that blending of art and science, blending fact with feeling. And I thank them all for participating. I hope to inspire courage and passion to face the truth of the unfathomable decline in which we are living, so that some measure of mitigation and protection will grow from this work, this kind of work. After all, we ourselves are not exempt from extinction. We are, I believe, creatures who do know how to love, even when that means creating a reined-in civilization on an altered arc from the current trajectory. It's embracing change, restraint, and reciprocity.
The surface of the shore waters dampen her feet as she flies off, hard and low. Her route familiar, sea to treetops. My kayak glides to a silent stop as I watch. The marbled merlet weaves her world, the earthbound, the rooted, the gnarled land, and the undulating, shifting salt sea. She insists upon both, this weaver, the wet and the dry, the high and the deep, the solid and the liquid. Evolution's grace, she is honed and perfect, of tree and fish. Her cry hangs over the shoreline, passes through rough bark of Douglas fir, slides along the wavelet's back, and laps at me as my paddle blade cuts the water. My arms pull against the weight of her plea, and I pull against and against.
I've found a refuge and give myself some time. Dragonflies and frogs are my world. Eyes closed in the late spring afternoon, I sit, practicing deep breaths, trying for the emptiness of Buddhist space and calm. No shopping mall in sight or sound, no traffic noise, no chatter. How rare is that? Deep breath is easy now. The cool dirt beneath my feet, actinomycetes are there at work. I smile as the edges of peaceful rest creep in. But thoughts like worry beads still jingle. I cannot get empty of mind, but allow myself an instant to bridge the fungal, the invertebrate, the mammalian, the avian, all of it. The simple complexity of what started as the Precambrian explosion that has indeed exploded with buzzing, crawling, creeping, flying, munching, squirming all about me, here on this log under the clouds. Impossible to have an empty Buddhist mind. I take another deep breath and smile again, this time at my non-struggle for emptiness. Then, without warning, the whooping cranes arrive. Their primitive cries overhead wake me from my imperfect meditation to full, blinking alert. The ancient ballet of 7-foot undulation swoops in, casting wing shadows over me. With my 5-foot arm span outspread, I receive, empty and full.
I wouldn't even try to capture it and hold it, darting as it does between protective rock crevices and the edges of wildflower meadows. Imagination will have to do. Its softness heartbreaking, its lightness a surprise, and its peeping voice at once so tiny. But there it is, sliding down snowfields, bouncing off boulders, reverberating across mountains. Is that anguish in those staccatos? We simply smile with enchantment, try to snap photos, then pass on by. The little chirps persist, skipping across glaciers, cascades, beyond this talus field, past trailheads, lodges, parking lots, expanding to fill thunderheads and more. Searching for a cross-species grammar that translates endearment into urgency, that penetrates walls and hearts. The pika's plight flies to the city, to corridors, to offices where meetings are held, petition papers drafted, votes taken. Even there we do know the tenderness of fur, the symmetry of those attentive little ears, the curve of that small rounded back that could fit perfectly in the hand. All by itself, then, the pika sings for its salvation, and smallness miraculously becomes large.
You talk about the threats to my existence. I scoff at you. Yes, your nets have taken some of my family, and that makes me angry, very angry. You have walled off my mangroves, the nursery for my children, and that makes me angry too. You hunt and kill my brothers and sisters for their body parts and pretend you need these for your health. This makes me angriest of all. You stick tags in my fins to learn about my habits, but that won't tell you all you need to know. So, in my rage, I swim tough, I'm agile, I'm strong. We have been fine-tuning our survival for millions of years, so this listing on your so-called endangered species list does not intimidate me. And I have my weapon, my long sawtooth blade, my sword. So, who do you think is really in danger here? Who? You think about that.